Hello, Heisters! How are we all doing today? I hope we're all doing well. I have a special guest with me today. I see some people in chat saying, Cent Frolics, for example, is saying ready for some Locke. So I think I just hear him come in the door here. So how about we bring Locke in and talk to you all? We have Locke here. He's ready to have a chat with us for the Thursday stream. So if you have any questions for Locke, feel free to ask them in chat and we'll try to get through them as we chat. How does it feel to come back for Payday 3?
Oh, it feels fantastic. I'll tell you, those assassins, they nearly got me. But I'm stronger and more determined than ever to help out the Payday gang.
Is Locke the contractor for Cook-Off or Turbid Station? And that is yes to both, and for all the legacy heists that are coming into Payday 3.
Yeah.
So you'll get to see more of
Story
him.
about that as well. I'll tell you a quick story about that.
Mm-hmm.
So I recorded that at a studio in London, even though I live in the US, because I had to go to the UK to some family stuff. My mum wasn't so well, so I had to go and have a visit with her. And then the news broke that they needed me in the studio to record for that. So I got a train down into London to record that. And there's a picture of me on my Instagram somewhere at a studio called Side Global. And I think the comment is, I can't tell you why I'm here, but it was much fun. But of course, now I can say I was there to record these lines for Locke.
How long have you known, but without being able to share it with the fans, that you're coming back?
You know, we've been talking about what's going to happen to Locke, how he might be involved in Payday 3. That's probably been going on and off for 2 years, I would say. There were various ideas, which are really not for me to share, as to how that might happen. And then I got an email from my London agent saying, are you going to be in, can you, and it was all very cloak and dagger. And so I didn't, even then, they weren't exactly telling me what it was. The code, it was a code name, and I put two and two together. I had a shrewd idea that it might be, but only once we'd confirmed dates and places and where I was going to be, then it came out that yes, you're going to be. This is for Locke. So right up until, I don't know, a week before I was recording the lines, I didn't know exactly how Locke was going to come back into Payday 3, but pretty much I knew that he was going to come back somehow. I just weren't exactly clear on how.
Mystery Payday again with another question saying, Locke, what's your opinion on Dallas getting a yacht called Medic Bag?
Gives me a target to hit my golf balls at.
Got a different question. A Kaylee fan saying, will Locke be talking us through Legacy Heist like Shay does, or will he just be the voice in the heist selection menu like Mac was? Do you want to take this one, or should I take it?
I think you should take that one.
All right, cool. So Locke is going to be the contractor for the heist, but he's not going to be the operator. So you'll still have Shade talking you through the heist. But Locke is still there. Locke is still back helping out the Payday gang. Higgy wants to know, what drove Ian to pursue a career in voice acting?
Yeah, I'll try and keep what is quite a long story short. In 2012, I worked in corporate land, and it was quite stressful. And my wife bought me for Christmas, as a kind of a joke almost, a one-day introduction to voice acting as a Christmas gift.
Nice.
So I went and did that. That was in London. So I went and did that, and like maybe 2 years later, the corporate world was shrinking in finance, which is where I was, thanks to the credit crunch of the early 2000s. And I eventually had enough, and I said, I volunteer as tribute, let me go, I'm going to leave, I'm going to do something else, it's a young man's game. So they let me go. So I now had nothing to do. This is 2 years later, 2014. And I said, well, I went up to the guy I'd done the work with in London, and I said, do people ever get hired to do this voice acting stuff? And he said, yep. And I said, would they ever hire me? He said, I don't see why not. And with that ringing endorsement from a top producer in London, I set off for my voice acting career. I bought a computer and a microphone, and away I went. I did it all wrong, but here I am.
And here you are, yeah.
Yeah. And then in, end of 2015, I hadn't been doing voice acting for barely a year, and I got cast as Locke in the Point Break heists. And the rest, as they say, is history.
Ellen C asking, has Ian played any Payday 3?
No. I think one of the challenges, I'm very fortunate that as a voice actor, I am busy. You know, a lot of people can go a long time between bookings. And for whatever reason, I don't. I'm every day. I'm in here. This is my studio. I have my recording area here. The Locke box, which, as named, the Locke box, it can keep its name now. I was worried we might have to change its name to something else. So it's called the Locke box. And I'm in there every day working on something. Not all video games. I mean, you know, there's commercials and corporate stuff and books and who knows what, animations. And so I'm in front or by a computer most of the day. And, you know, I get tired. And at the end of the day, I don't want to be in front of a computer. And so I actually don't play a lot of video games, which is where that story was going, I guess.
Yeah.
And no, I haven't got around to even looking at Payday 3, actually. With Payday 2, I have been on, you know, it's like a guest on a couple of streams and, you know, played Payday 2 on. I'm actually not very good. So we tend to get to a situation where I hide in a corner, let the rest of the team do what's necessary, and then they show me the way out, and you know, that way we get to complete the heist.
But I mean, that's why you're the contractor, right? You're the boss to basically just coordinate everyone, but then, you know, the heisters actually do the heists.
Yeah.
They do the work, but
It's like,
you tell them what to
expect
do.
me to run around at my age?
Yeah.
Shooting people? Come on, boys. I don't have the adrenaline capability. Stealth, I'd be like tense constantly. I'm going to get discovered. I get a kick. Locke has given me an opportunity which I never expected to have, and that is to do fun things with people who play the game. And I enjoy doing that. It's fun.
And Tunes Payday is also asking, is the Locke saber there in the studio?
The lightsaber.
I don't know. They're calling it the Locke saber. I'm not sure what they're referring to be perfectly honest.
Here it is.
Hey, gotta put it out there, and maybe it'll come back around.
You know, in many ways, as a Brit, not really South African, but as a Brit, there are several very large franchises that need lots of Brit voices. You know, you got Game of Thrones, Harry Potter, Lord of the Rings. You know, they all use British voices, even Star Wars. So,
and you are the British voice.
Well, yeah, there are other British voices exist. Should you require another one? But yeah.
And I was thinking of your username being the British voice.
Well, that's all my branding. All my branding is the British voice.
It's really clever.
A complete accident. When I arrived in the States and set up my business as a voice actor, I thought, I'll call myself the British voice, because there won't be any, to tell people what I do, thinking that there wouldn't be any other British people being voice actors in America. But there's one on every street corner. There's loads of us out here. And what I want to show you, this one. Can you see this?
Oh, yeah. That is beautiful.
This is my One Voice Gaming Award for performing Locke, which I always like to show to the community because they were part of that.
For the makings of Matt, I was asking, would you rather voice a Star Wars hero or a villain or something else like a creature?
Ooh, that's a good question. You know, British accented people often get cast as bad guys. And I have no objection to playing bad guys. Frankly, I'd be happy to be Stormtrooper 3.
Very well-deserved award. You did do an amazing job at playing Locke. And you will again for Payday 3.
Yeah, less of the did, thanks.
Yeah. What is Locke's favorite line from Payday 2?
Oh god. Um, my usual answer to this is when I first auditioned for Locke, there was a bit where they wanted you to ad lib whistling a tune or singing a tune, which actually appears in, I think, Beneath the Mountain. And I chose to whistle the 1812 overture. Da 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 da
That's a good
da,
choice.
because it has guns and explosions in it. And they actually used that in the heist. So given that that was a complete improvisation on my part, spur of the moment, and it was adopted into the game, I tend to go with that. I remember that.
Does Locke get to improvise a little bit on his voice line or some ideas what he could say? And has he played the game himself, maybe?
Um, I, I, I- so as the operator, so much of what you're recording is instructional and important in order to get the player to go where they need to go. There's not a lot of room for improv. Um, what we have done in this like the loadout things, we tend to play a little bit around more with that, but not so much again because there's a lot of information in there that needs to be conveyed. So not so much like that it happens at the moment, but we mess around with stuff, and then I might find, well, during Payday 2 anyway, I would find that a couple of contracts later, there'd be something in the loadout that we messed around with 2 months ago. So they would put little Easter eggs in of stuff that we had done, that we had messed around with previously. They would have been joking around, and then whoever's writing it will put something, ha ha, put that in and see if he notices. Stuff
That is really cool.
that probably the players will never know is an Easter egg because it's just something between the writers and me, really. But so there's not a lot of room. Um, Locke doesn't swear so much anymore. So and the Dutch words or the Afrikaans words, we'll occasionally put a few extra of those in. And right at the end of the final Payday 2 heist, I did ask if I could finish off with for sure right at the end, which they let me do. So that
Nice.
was nice.
Vertex is also asking, how does Locke find inspiration for his voice acting roles?
Yeah, it's a good question as well. For characters like this, I mean, Locke has definitely evolved. That's a character that's evolved. You don't often get the luxury of doing that. Most of the time, when we're auditioning for stuff, we'll get 4 lines, 5 lines of dialogue. We'll get a very brief description. So, for example, for Locke, the first description I had of Locke was South African mercenary. And that was it. Nothing else. So you don't often get a great deal of stuff to grab hold of in order to be able to develop a character at that point. But where you're playing a character who's in a game for any length of time, often you don't see the lines until the morning of, the day before, your recording session. So a lot, we were talking about improv, a lot of it is very instantaneous. So if you want to be a voice actor, improv is a real skill that you should practice. Where there is significant lore to a game or to a universe, that really helps inform how you should perform a character.
Before I let you go, though, maybe one cool thing to do would be, as Locke, do you have a message for the Payday players?
Now that I'm back, it's important that we absolutely knock those heists out. We've got, those assassins, I might have escaped them with my life, but they took all my money. And I need you to go and earn loads of money to help me get my money back so I can go and play golf again.
There you go.
Hey,
you heard it here first.
I've said this a lot. If Starbreeze wants me, I'm here. If the community wants Locke involved in the game, I'm here. I love this community. I've said this before as well. I'm not really aware of another gaming community that is so engaged, as the Payday community has been with me, and I think it's a tremendous asset, and I'm happy to be a small part of it.
And we're very happy to have you as part of that too. So yeah, there's your call to action, heisters. Make sure that you come to play the new update when it drops before the end of November. And again, yeah, thank you so much for joining us. And thank you
You're
all
welcome.
the heisters
I now have
for
to go and
tuning
have a
in.
shower.
Yeah. All right, take care, everyone.
Have
Bye.
a good one. Take care.